Today we're doing a story time. Okay, what's up YouTube? So today I'm going to attempt to tell the story about when I found out I was pregnant with Cameron. All right, so I don't know where to begin. I guess some of the story I can't really go too deep into detail because I was having a surgery and there were so many things surrounding the surgery that I was having because I was pregnant with Cameron when having the surgery, but I didn't know it. So anyway, that's in litigation, so we're not going to go into detail about all of that. However, let me tell you guys something. Cameron is a surprise. He was an unplanned pregnancy. I had my 2 daughters and I was like, I'm never having any more kids. These are very expensive human beings, and I personally don't think that you should have a baby if you don't have the means to take care of a baby. Like Michael Jackson says, if you can't feed a baby, don't have a baby. That's me all day long. So I never ever wanted any more kids after Chloe and Cassidy, my 2 daughters. So anyway, I was just minding my business, you know. I guess I was doing a little bit of this and that, you know, every now and again. But at the end of the day, I went in to have a surgery, and come to find out, after the surgery, I'm thinking I'm having complications, and I'm just swollen, and I'm one of those people who cannot take I cannot take medication at all. Like, I cannot take any kind of pills without vomiting. So I thought I was vomiting because of the Percocets and the different painkillers I was on. I thought I was vomiting because of those reasons. That's it. I had no clue I was pregnant. So I went to the doctor for like a 4th post-op visit, and I'm like, listen, something's going on. Like, I feel horrible. Like, I do not think something's up. And so the doctor was like, I don't know, you know, you look good, you look great, everything's turning out right. Yeah, bull crap. So anyway, something said, go home and take a pregnancy test. I took the pregnancy test and I lost my mind. It came back positive. Now, mind you, my best friend was telling me the whole time, she's like, you're pregnant. You never miss your period. We don't miss periods. You know you're pregnant. Because the same thing happened to her. Like, the minute she missed her period, that's how we knew she was pregnant. Because we are like one of those types of women that like our period is so regular, it's crazy. Or it used to be anyway. Now I don't have a period, but that's another story. So yeah, so anyway, it is around my vow renewal time, and I still don't know I'm pregnant, but everyone else can tell. They're like, your arms are so skinny and your stomach is like sticking out. You're pregnant. Little did everyone know, while I was pregnant with Cameron, I had an 8-pound tumor as well. Now, it didn't start out as 8 pounds. It was small at first, and then it grew to 8 pounds. That's why Cameron was born early. He was born 6.5 weeks early, and he was only like 4 pounds, 8 ounces, I think. And yeah, he literally was sitting at the bottom of my stomach or uterus, or however, I don't know where he was positioned exactly, but the fibroid tumor was sitting on top of him. So the pressure, and I'm just this little itty bitty person, my body could not handle that. So it pushed him out early. I actually had a cerclage put in, which is something that they put in the baby. They put in the baby, really? Come on. They put in the woman to hold the pregnancy, to like hold the cervix. They hold the cervix together, and so that helps from anything coming out, like a little baby. So I had that surgery. The pregnancy was absolutely horrible. When I tell you, I had the worst morning sickness ever that came in late because I was not vomiting. Well, maybe I was vomiting and I thought it was the medication. So yeah, I guess I was vomiting the whole time. However, on top of being always sick and vomiting, I had severe low iron. So throughout my entire pregnancy, I had to get iron infusions, and that was horrible. They could not find a vein all of the time. They could like never find a vein. So I would get pricked maybe like a good 3 times before they could find a good stick every single time I went to get these infusions. And these are weekly infusions. And I can't remember if I went twice a week, but I went often. So the pregnancy was horrible. I was so uncomfortable. I was big, and the tumor was causing me to have the worst pain I had ever experienced in my entire life. You know, the type of pain you don't wish on your worst enemy. Like, it was so severe. I actually had to have one of my best friends, Tiffany, come out and take care of me. She lives all the way in New Jersey and she works in New York City. Like, she literally had to, thank God it was during COVID and she could work from home. She had to come out of her comfort of her own home and take care of me. I could not do anything. And my kids can only do but so much, like literally. I mean, I couldn't even get out of bed. Like, that's how huge I was. I'm gonna try to insert a picture so that you guys can see. This was crazy. So the pregnancy was absolutely horrible. The only time I was not in pain is when I went to have the surgery to have the cerclage put in to hold Cameron in. They gave me morphine or something, whatever. It went straight to the vein, you know. And as soon as they gave it to me, I stopped crying and I was like, oh my God. And Tiffany, as my witness, she saw me like transition from this person who was constantly in pain, crying, depressed, sad, all the things. And then I just stood up and was like, I think I'm going to go to the bathroom now. Like, I can go by myself. I can walk. It was just like a miracle happening. So that happened, had the surgery. And, you know, I spent most of my time in the hospital when I was pregnant with Cameron. Now, fast forward to after giving birth to him. Oh, as a matter of fact, like, I was so worn out and tired when I was pregnant with Cameron. When my water broke, I literally called my sister, who's a registered nurse, and I'm like, I'm leaking fluid, but I'm so sleepy. I just want to eat my dinner and go to bed. Like, and my sister's like, sis, no, she calls me baby girl. She goes, baby girl, I know that you're tired, but I think you need to start heading to the hospital because if you're leaking fluid, it's best that we see and get you checked out. So thank God for her. I actually went to the hospital. I was able to drive myself there. I mean, of course, it was really hard, but I got there. Yeah, so anyway, they had to do like an emergency, take the cerclage out, and then, you know, they give you medicine to kind of speed the pregnancy up because once I started leaking fluid, my water broke, it's inevitable that the baby's coming. You want another crouton? We're eating croutons together. Here you go. So, is that too big? Let's break it in, huh? Here you go. He likes to do everything himself. If I try to give it to him, he's like, no, I'll do it. Here. Okay, whatever. So you do want it. Okay, here, take it. You take it. Okay, all right. You're the king. You're the king. Eat it. Okay, so back to my story where I totally forgot where I left off. But at the end of the day, Cameron came. Cameron was literally only maybe 4 weeks old. He gets sick. So not only is he a preemie, okay, he gets sick with this crazy disease called botulism. Never heard of botulism. As a matter of fact, it is so rare. You guys got to do your own research. I cannot walk you through this. I'm going to put the word right here so that you guys can see how to spell it. Look it up. It is so rare, but the symptoms and what happens to your child, unfreaking believable. I literally lost Cameron for a number of seconds. They had to resuscitate him because there is a point where their baby becomes paralyzed because they cannot move. Like, I knew something was wrong immediately because he wasn't latching onto the breast anymore. And so I'm like, okay, something's wrong. It was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because he had taken his morning feeding. This is how it is. Like, if you decide to have kids, just know your life is no longer your own. It is the baby's life, and they dictate how your life is going to go. Period. So anyway, Cameron got really sick. scariest, most trying time of my life. Most depressing, most, what's a really good, surreal, enlightening, is that, I'm like, have a degree in journalism. Okay, but anyway, I became enlightened. How about that? And surreal, enlightened, dramatic, depressing, tumultuous. I mean, it was just, I don't have the words to tell you how crazy, raw, and roller coaster this botulism was for Cameron, myself, and everyone else who was involved. It was crazy. Okay, so while in the hospital, I went through all those stages I told you. We were in the hospital for over a month. And, you know, I really had some time to reflect. And what I now know is your words have power. Your thoughts have power. Everything you're connected to matters. And there are only a few important people in your grape cluster where, I mean, there are important people in your life, but I mean, there's very few people that, I mean, your heartstrings are attached to. And your kids are those people. And so at the end of the day, I have learned that because I was so anti having more children, I was so negative, I didn't even embrace my pregnancy initially. I realized that, you know, you have to be careful. Even in your darkest moments or moments where you just don't know what's going on, you have to be careful what you say. Because I'm telling you, I got a rude awakening of understanding what's important. Like, I almost, you know, if I could rewind time, I would go back and never say, oh, I don't want any more kids. I would say, if that's God's plan for me to have more kids, I'm here for it. Because, you know, it's hard to get pregnant for some women. It's hard to carry a baby for some women. You know, and I had really easy pregnancies for the most part with my other two kids. And Cameron's pregnancy was absolutely horrible. But I still got pregnant. You know, so I had to learn, like, hey, count your blessings. Because there's people who try and try and try and they never get pregnant. And they don't complain. And they just go on with their life. So that was like one of the biggest lessons I learned. You know, count your blessings and be grateful. Even when you don't understand what's going on, know that everything happens for a reason. You may not know today, tomorrow, what the reason is, but one day you'll know what it is. What else? I'm telling you guys a story to inspire you to take control of your life and to love the people who are in your life. Love them hard, love them through and through, because in a second things could change. When I thought Cameron was dead and he was not coming back, and there was like, because at the time when he flatlined, we didn't have a diagnosis. It was my mother who told the doctor, hey, why don't you guys treat him for botulism? It sounds like those symptoms, you know? The doctors didn't know. And Florida healthcare is a little bit different versus like where we're from, where we were living in Atlanta. Like the healthcare system is just completely different. So Florida, it took me some getting used to, like how it seemed like everything is kind of a slower pace out here. So, I mean, just to get back to what this whole story time is about, don't take your life for granted. Love the people who are in your life. Love them thoroughly, completely, fully. Take lots of pictures. Make lots of memories with the people that you love, because things can change in an instant. Count your blessings and be grateful for everything you have, because someone else, you don't know, someone else could desperately want what you have and they could never get it. So yeah, that's it. That's my story time. That's how this little mighty man got here. And he literally is a miracle. Like, who gets a major surgery with a baby inside of them and like doesn't even know it, just keeps on living my life. I was drinking, I was doing things like I was just out here living, you know, and I have a completely healthy baby and I thank God every day. Oh yeah, one last part. When I was in the hospital, I remember screaming at the top of my lungs in the shower, in the same room Cameron was in. I'm taking a shower and I'm like, God, what do you want from me? You know, and some people call God universe, spirit, higher power, whatever. God told me, until you put your children and your husband first, I'll do what I have to do to get your attention. Because people call on me in such a great capacity all the time. Like people call me for advice, people call me for money, people call me for anything you can think of. People call on me for that. And I love being a good friend. I love being a good daughter. I love being a good sister. But sometimes I have to get my priorities in order. And with that being said, my kids and my husband are the priority in my life. And that's why I made this channel, so that I can share something with them and their children. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. We'll see you next time. Say bye, Cameron. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. And we're out of here.